Protect your team and stay OSHA compliant with PickerPal. Fall protection built specifically for elevated pick modules. Their patent-pending, self-closing safety arms maintain a barrier at all times without batteries or training. With over 60,000 arms in use nationwide, PickerPal is trusted by leading warehouses and distributors. Learn more or schedule a free on-site assessment at pickerpalproducts.com. That's pickerpalproducts.com.
The New Warehouse Podcast, hosted by Kevin Lawton, is your source for insights and ideas from the distribution, transportation, and logistics industry. A new episode every Monday morning brings you the latest from industry experts and thought leaders. And now, here's Kevin.
Hey, it's Kevin with the New Warehouse Podcast, bringing you a new episode today. And on today's episode, I am going to be joined by the founder and CEO of Sonair, Knut Sandven, and he's joining me all the way from Oslo, Norway. Right, so very interested to talk to him and learn more about Sonair and the way that they are making robots be able to see objects better. And we're going to learn a little bit about that technology today and what that means for the industry and also the advancement of robotics and automation in the warehousing industry as well. So Knut, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Kevin. Great being here. Great intro.
Thank you. Great to have you here, definitely, and definitely very interested to learn about this topic because I think, we see certainly more robotic solutions, more automation solutions coming to the market, whether that's, via YouTube or LinkedIn or at trade shows, conferences. Lots of new technology and innovations happening in that arena, but there also needs to be, things that go on a little bit behind the scenes too to enable those to happen and make that adoption maybe happen a little more quickly. So I think we're going to learn a little bit about that today. So why don't you tell us, kind of kick it off here, tell us a little bit about Sonair and kind of how you're the founder, so kind of how you came to found the company as well.
Okay, yeah, Sonair, the name Sonair, it plays on sonar and sonar in air. I think many people know sonar for underwater detection and navigation, yeah. So that's the name. What we're doing, we have developed a 3D ultrasonic depth sensor. It's using ultrasound. That's also what animals like bats and dolphins use to navigate in complex environments. And so the sensor is based on technology developed over decades in a research group in Norway. It's what's called a MEMS sensor. MEMS is a micro electromechanical system. It's a silicon sensor. It's all the sensors you have in your mobile phone are MEMS sensors. And what we have enabled by this core sensor component is a technique called beamforming. And that's if you have ever been to the doctor and gotten an ultrasound scan, that's beamforming. That's the technique used there to image inside your body. So we built a platform where you can use the same techniques in air. And our first application is within robotics. So how are we using this? It's really to see if anything is in front of the robot, any object, any kind of object. Is it a glass object? Is it a soft object, hard object? It doesn't matter. Everything is visible in ultrasound. So that's the advantage, or one of the advantages.
Interesting. So I'm curious, where did the idea come from?
Yeah, that's... So Sonair is actually my third startup. Okay. First one was a company called Gas Secure. We made gas detectors, and that was also partly based on using ultrasound.
Interesting.
And this was in 2009. I started the first company, and I wanted to use the same technology back then, but we decided it wasn't mature enough. So since then, it has matured, and I have followed the development. In my second startup, I worked with sensors on the power grid, and we developed a drone that could automatically or autonomously install these sensors on powered grid lines. So that took me into robotics and autonomy, and what kind of technology do you have available for navigating machines autonomously, and kind of things aligned. I saw potential for improving, and I got together with people with ultrasound background from the medical field, and we started Sonair.
Interesting.
That's 2.5 years ago. We are launching our product now in June. It's been out for about a half year now with some pilot customers for testing in a test version, and it's now coming in a product version.
Interesting. Okay. And so I guess tell us for understanding, right? Because how previously, or I guess maybe traditionally, maybe is the better word, are these robots kind of detecting objects, prior to Sonair?
Yeah. And they are, robots are working quite good now. So we mostly focus on AMRs, for warehouses, logistics robots, and service robots. And they are currently using very much the same sensor package, those kind of robots. It consists of cameras and LiDARs. And what they're using are 2D LiDARs. That's laser-based or light-based systems. So they're using 2D LiDARs, and these LiDARs see then a horizontal plane. So if you mount a LiDAR on an AMR, it's typically mounted 20 centimeters above the floor, and it will see the legs of a person.
Okay.
And it sees the legs of a person quite reliably. It cannot distinguish if it's the leg of a person or a pole or anything else, but it will see if there's an object there. So, but the disadvantage with LiDAR, the main disadvantage with LiDAR is that it's 2D. It does not see the full body of a person. And, as robots now gets into the wild, gets into unstructured environments with unpredictable people, you need to see someone reaching out towards the robot. You need to see someone kicking towards the robot. You need to see objects standing out of a shelf, hanging from the roof. It's not enough or sufficient to only see this horizontal plane 20 centimeters above the floor. So that's the big difference that we see in full 3D. We have a full vertical field of view and full horizontal field of view. So expanding the field of view. And then also LiDARs have some very known problem areas. They don't see glass or have significant problems seeing glass, shiny objects, strong headlights, known problems with LiDARs. Those are not problems for ultrasound.
Interesting. And so the problem around seeing glass or shiny objects, right, is because essentially, I guess the glass is transparent, right? So it's hard to detect that, and then the shiny objects, I guess, maybe because there's some kind of reflection. Is that why?
Yeah, that's why, and those are also problems for cameras. But I strongly believe in the future of cameras and the AI models now being trained to understand images. So cameras are here to stay on robots, and how that's developing is really amazing to follow. But cameras alone are insufficient for object detection, and so you need some other modality to combine with cameras, and that's where this is really what we develop for, the combination with cameras. So we give reliable and safety certified depth from our sensor to the robot system, and then you combine with vision-based system cameras to understand really what you're looking at and understanding the scene better, and also as input for navigation.
Interesting. Yeah. And so now tell us a little bit about, because, I think a lot of people that would be listening to our podcast, right, they're ones that are kind of evaluating different robotic solutions and trying to understand, are they going to be a good fit for their operation? And, a lot of them probably too are in a position where they're looking to maybe make their first investment in robotics or automation, right? So so tell us a little bit about how this technology kind of, from an operator's perspective, right? How does it make a difference for the way that robots will interact either with each other, the operational environment, or if they're working alongside humans?
We'll be back after a quick break.
Spoiler alert, your team hates manual unloading. And who can blame them? It's slow, risky, and exhausting. Tawi's container unloader eliminates the pain. Lifting loads safely and efficiently from inside containers. Engineered to lift heavy goods ergonomically from deep inside containers, it accelerates unloading while keeping your team safe from strain. Safer workers, faster turnaround, and better efficiency. Better for your people, better for your bottom line. Lift smarter. Visit tawi.com today. That's TAWI.com.
Yeah, and the goal here is really to not have to design your warehouse or the environment to the robot, but to use robot along with people in a messy environment or an environment changing all the time, and not have to think about any adaptations to make the robot work. Our sensor will contribute to that vision. And as I mentioned previously, working next to people and with people, you really need to see more than the legs of a person. So that's, and also these systems need to be safety certified. The easiest way to safety certify a robot is to use safety certified components, safety certified sensors and other components. And that's also the usual way of safety certifying robots. Our sensors will be safety certified. So that's really the only safety certified alternative you have to see in full 3D. And what else is important for an operator? Cost, of course. Cost of the current, so the LiDARs is high, very high for safety certified LiDARs. We're taking that significantly down, and also making it easy for the robot OEMs to get safety to work. That's our mission, really, to make safety easy. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and I think that's a great mission to have. Definitely, yeah. we want to be safer for sure. And I think it's also an interesting point there. Not having to build your operation, or I guess alter your operation to accommodate the robots, right? Which I think certainly opens up more options for companies, that maybe they don't have the luxury of some of the, larger corporations that, hey, we're just build a new building and we're going to build that building around these automation solutions. So, these companies that are, well, we've had this building for, 15 years and, we're not going to go build a new one just to put robots in. Like, how can we do something with what we have existing? And I think more people are looking to try and do that based on kind of what's going on in the market, and, not really any relief in terms of lease rates or real estate pricing and things like that. How do we get more out of what's already existing, and how do we do that with, not investing in like redoing the entire operation, or, stop the flow of goods in the operation to be able to rebuild in that sense. So I think that's a really, really great thing. So I guess tell us from your perspective, how does your technology kind of help to lower the bar of entry for robotics itself?
So for the robotic builders, the OEMs, what's being done today is really combining different sensors from different vendors and putting it all together in the brain of the robot. That's still what you need to do, but we make it easier, integrating with vision systems, and we take care of the safety aspect for the robot. That's our main value proposition, to take care of the safe object detection and people detection with this 3D functionality. And of course, I mean, we do what we can to make it plug and play, easy to integrate, using the data formats they're used to work with. Also working with partnering up with other providers in this field, so we can have a combined solutions, easier to work with for the robot builders. Yeah, we now talked about the AMRs and service robots, but also I am a strong believer in the humanoids. They're coming.
They're coming. Yes,
they're coming. And they will also need to be around people and not be protected by fences. So they also need to handle safety in a full 360 view around the robot. So we're also talking to players in that field, and we really, I think we're a strong alternative there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's an interesting thing. I was actually going to ask you about that from a humanoid perspective, because that's, or just some robotics in general. I mean, certainly we've seen much advancement on like the AMR side, where they're working alongside humans without a cage or anything like that. But that's kind of the next step a little bit in some of these humanoids is how do we take them out of the cage? I guess in a sense, right? Yeah. To be able to operate next to humans and have maybe some interaction there as well in that sense. So it's great that you touched on that. So really interesting there. And I mean, what do you think? I guess let's clarify something too. So your customer essentially is the robotics OEM, right? Yeah. So
it is, and we haven't. We haven't touched on cobots or robot arms. We also have quite strong interest in replacing the fences by using virtual fences, and we also can apply our technology for that. So installing a sensor in a static location and creating a safety field in front of the sensor.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because I've seen some of the robotic arms in obviously in trade shows and things, but also like in operations and yeah, I mean some of the large ones. I mean they're moving at incredible force, right? So you don't want to get close to them because they will knock you out for sure. But so tell us a little bit about how does that work, and what would be the idea there? How would that kind of create more flexibility in the operation?
Yeah, so how it works is for the robot arms is really you mount the sensor looking forward, and the user, it can be the warehouse operator or the operator of the robot arm, then defines a safety zone. So our sensor will see 5 meters in front of the sensor, and you can then define what area needs to be protected, and with different actions. So typically there's a warning zone where if a person gets into this warning zone, let's say it's 3 meters out, the robot arm will slow down and go more easy. If they then enter the stop zone, typically closer to the robot, it's a full stop. Stop signal from the sensor to the robot, and it immediately stops. So that's how you configure it and how it works. And you can then define these safety zones in 3D. And I think we're the only company having that capability. So that's new functionality and a quite strong value proposition. Makes it very easy to set up these safety zones around. It can be, robot arms, dangerous machinery, saw blades and heavy stuff. There's a lot of things that need to be protected from people entering into the working zone. So there's demand in that field.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and that's very interesting to hear. And so I'm curious, how does like what needs to happen? I mean, aside from sounds like people need to get Sonair and their products,
Yeah.
but I mean, aside from that, what from your perspective, like what needs to happen to whether it's humanoids or other type of robotic solutions, what needs to happen in order to speed up kind of the process of automating these warehouses and getting more adoption from the warehouse companies themselves.
Yeah, let's keep it to the AMRs. And I
Sure.
mean, the humanoids is an endless discussion, but
Yeah.
the AMRs, I mean, let's get them down in price. The cost level is, in my opinion, way too high. So let's get them down in price, make them easy to implement. The user interfaces needs to be improved so they are, much more plug and play. Just power them up and they will learn the environment and start. You're ready to start. And sensor technology is, of course, a large part of that. And what we're doing is, I believe that's an important part to handle safety without further concern. That's make it easy. That's where we need to go. Make it easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think making it easy, even though it's probably complex and challenging for the robotics company themselves, right? To put the solution together and get it out there and certainly get that price point lower, as you mentioned. I mean, I think will make that adoption much faster and much easier for a lot of companies to start to digest better and be able to navigate and figure out. So now if we look towards the future, what do you see in kind of the future of robotics in warehousing specifically?
See how it's developing. It's the growth of AMRs. I mean, it's a little up and down, but in the trend is really steep growth. More and more companies are including AMRs in their operations, and not only the really big ones, but as you mentioned, smaller operations. It's as it becomes easier, you don't need to buy 100, but you can start with one or two and then scale as you see the advantages. We need to get there. I mean, just attracting and retaining people in these kind of jobs is getting more and more difficult in the Western world. I guess what's your employment rate in the US now? Around 4% or something.
Somewhere around there,
Yeah. And same here in Europe, Western Europe. It's difficult to get people to stay in these jobs, and it's a lot of monotonous and hard work that can quite easily be replaced by robots now. So this will. I'm extremely optimistic to the robotics future in all the categories. So. And talking about the service robots, have you ever been served by at a restaurant, for instance, been served by a service robot? That's it's an amazing experience.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a burger place by me, and you order at a register, but then when the food is ready, they bring it out on a little AMR. It's got a little face that looks like a cat.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, I like talking to the waiters, and that's part of the restaurant experience, but not always. We have this in the airport in Oslo here, and when you're traveling, you just want something quick. It's an amazing experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So very interesting to learn about Sonair here with you, Knut, and also get your perspectives on kind of what needs to happen in order to increase adoption around robotics. And sounds like you're doing your job to try and make that happen.
Yeah, we try to do our part, and
definitely. So great to have you join me here on the show today. If people want to learn more about Sonair, what's the best way to do that?
Visit our webpage, send us an email. We have a contact form there. There's many ways to contact us and start test our technology. It's available now as in product version in a few months. So just reach out and we'll be very happy to work with you.
All right, great. And we'll definitely put all that information at thenewwarehouse.com as well as in the show notes. So thank you once again for your time on the show today, Knut.
You've been listening to the New Warehouse Podcast with Kevin Lawton. Subscribe and check us out online at thenewwarehouse.com.
Enjoyed this episode? Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast, and for more content from the New Warehouse, find us on LinkedIn and YouTube. Links to subscribe can be found in the show notes, and for everything The New Warehouse, head to thenewwarehouse.com.